Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Becca, and this is my channel where we talk about all the houseplant things. And this week, that consists of showing you 5 of my plants that are absolutely thriving right now. And I'm super excited to share them with you because we've got a few that you haven't seen in a while, or you might have seen them in the background and you're wondering like, what is that plant? One in particular I get a lot of questions about, so we're gonna get right into it. We are starting off with Mistletoe Ribsales. It also has a different name, which I will put on the screen. It starts with a B. Can never remember it, but I know it exists. This plant has been absolutely taking off ever since I put it in this self-watering pot. These self-watering pots are my absolute favorite pots in the whole entire world. I link them on a lot of my videos. I will have them linked on this video. And they are the reason that many of my plants are doing much better than they were, because a big problem that I had was watering my plants, and I was always super afraid of self-watering pots. But these have really changed my mind and made me realize that they're not all bad. If you watched my channel before, I've had this plant for a long time, but it looked really awful and like honestly quite scary, especially right after I moved here. It looked terrible. To say that it has had a complete 180 would be honestly an understatement. It is a completely different plant. Aside from the fact that I did not go out and buy a new plant, it is just like all new growth and just doing so well. We have some really cool funky growth over here. It has a bunch of aerial roots, and seriously, there was some hesitation about putting something like a jungle cactus in a self-watering pot. Specifically from my audience, there were a few people that were like, I don't know if that one's gonna like it. But I was the crash test dummy for this one, and it turned out that it really does like it. I do let it dry out. Like once it does dry in the reservoir, I let it sit for a little bit so that up here can dry out. But I think tomorrow when I do some plant chores, I'm gonna be replenishing it because it's been probably about a week that it's been empty. So as long as I'm doing that, I think that the plant is gonna be totally fine. It just stays moist for a little bit longer, and I don't have to water it as often. So all good news there. I have to briefly give a shout out to Miss Fetonia because she is doing so well. A lot of people really don't like Fetonia because they can be a little bit of a diva, but honestly, that's the reason why I love them. If you've watched my favorites videos, I'm sure that I have brought up Fetonia at least 2 or 3 times a year because it is just such a wonderful plant. It happens to be my favorite plant in my entire collection. So if you've ever wondered that, that's a good trivia question. It's the Fetonia, and I love it because there's just so much beautiful detail in the leaves. It's so beautiful. I have a merch piece that has a Fetonia leaf on it, which is so beautiful. I'm thinking about relaunching that collection soon, so stay tuned. It's currently sitting in a reservoir of water. This terracotta pot does not have any holes in it, so the water is just sucked up through the terracotta. And honestly, I didn't know if it would be a great solution for it. Like I didn't know if the terracotta would actually just drink the water and not give it to the plant, but it has worked out super, super well. Fetonia are a ground cover plant, so they are used to staying pretty moist. So when it does dry out, it lets you know. We are gonna bring out the big plant. I'm so excited to share this one because I actually have the name of the plant at the top of my head. I'm always forgetting what it's called, but this is a Crystallinum magnificum cross Anthurium. And Anthurium are well known for being crossbred because honestly, they are just very easy to make berries and seeds and cross-pollinate them and make all sorts of different varieties. So there are so many different ones out there. The Magnificum happens to be one of the coolest in my opinion. I've never had just a Magnificum before, but having this cross feels pretty close. So the Magnificum is known for having like huge leaves, and I would absolutely love for this plant to someday put out like a very huge massive leaf. And I think we're well on our way because look at how big this one is. Like it's pretty big. A few months ago, I also deadheaded it and cut off all of the leaves except for this one. And I just want this to be a message to you that you should never be afraid to cut off all the leaves of your Anthurium, specifically if they're like really ugly and you're trying to get the plant to just regrow and look better. There's just no use in holding on to gross old foliage, especially for a plant like this that honestly looks really good when it just has 1 or 2 leaves. it really doesn't need a lot of leaves to make an impact. So I would rather have 3 leaves that are really, really beautiful than like 7 leaves that most of them look awful. I feel like it's been a while since I've shown a Hoya, and specifically this one, but this is my Hoya Veloa. And this is probably my favorite Hoya in my collection right now, which I know is a big statement because I have quite a few, but this one is just so beautiful and has done such a great job. She's had a complete 180 recently. I put it in a west-facing window when I moved here and have been consistently watering it and giving it all the love that I possibly can, fertilizing it, and I'm finally getting paid for all of that work because we have this set of leaves that came out and we have this set of leaves that came out, and there's another set that is possibly on the way right here, but I'm trying to wrap the plant around the circle trellis, and Hoya don't necessarily love when their branches are facing down. So it's like, as you can see, it's trying to go back up. So I might actually detangle it from here and then put it back onto this like circle part of the trellis once it actually puts out the next set of leaves, and then maybe hopefully more stem, and then I can just wrap it so that it's facing up again. The Veloa is a really, really cool Hoya because it has these really lovely, like glossy, fuzzy leaves. I just love the way that these leaves feel. The undersides are so soft and fuzzy, and you'd think with a fuzzy leaf that it wouldn't be very glossy, but they are. So it's just a really cool leaf. I love the edges, how they're kind of ripply, and this plant has a really sweet story. It actually came as a cutting from my friend Nicole, My Clean Leaves, my podcast co-host, and it's finally doing something. It's been years and years and years where it wasn't doing much because it was battling with, well, it and me were battling with flat mites for a very long time. But basically I sprayed it with Captain Jack's and I gave it a hard, shower every single time I watered it, and that seemed to combat the flat mites enough for it to finally start putting out growth. So I'm super excited about that, and I'm excited for the future of this plant and very proud to show her off in this video. The last plant that I have for this video, and one that like very desperately needs a repot, is my Filidendrin Bilotier, and there's really no great way of showing this plant because it is just big and unruly and all over the place. So I guess I'll just like hold it like this so you can get a good idea of what I'm talking about. But the Bilotier is a really cool philodendron. I actually saw it recommended as a beginner plant in a TikTok that I reviewed on my channel. And ever since I saw that, I was like, wow, yeah, it definitely would be a great beginner plant because it's super striking and beautiful. So you're gonna feel like you have like a cool rare plant, but you're just getting started, and it's gonna give you leaf after leaf. Like truly, this plant has done nothing but reward me, and I do nothing but neglect it, and it is so, so happy. So you can see these stems are pretty thick, and the leaves themselves, you can't see, but they are on like the thicker side. They have like a nice like waxy coating to them, and those are two traits that sort of show that a plant can handle a little bit more of a drought period. I'm not saying that you should not water your plants, but I am just saying that it is a little bit more tolerable to neglect, which honestly, if any one of my plants are doing super well, you can probably assume that it does well with neglect. Or I have found some workaround with like a self-watering pot or something like that, like a hydro spike that is keeping that plant happy. I've actually started to see these pop up in big box stores, like smaller versions. So absolutely keep your eye out for one and see if you can snag it, because it's going to be one of your favorite plants in your collection because she's pretty and she just doesn't need much from you. And I love a plant like that. And you guys, that is it. Those are 5 of my plants that are absolutely thriving. I am open to doing a version of this video that is plants that are not thriving, and I'll get a little vulnerable with you because I think it's important to show the ups and the downs of owning plants. Like obviously all of these plants are really beautiful examples of what they could look like, but there's a lot of plants in my collection that just kind of look a little weird or aren't exactly thriving, but I'm happy to show those too. If you want, let me know in the comments down below if you want to see that version of this video. And also in your comment, please tell me which one of your plants are thriving right now and you're just super happy to have it in your collection. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure that you subscribe. I put out new videos every Friday and I know you don't want to miss them, so make sure you hit the notification bell so you're always alerted when I'm uploading, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.